Welcome to the Etsy Conversations podcast, featuring inspiring interviews with Etsy shop owners, hosted by Ijama Elazu.
Hi, and welcome to this week's episode of the Etsy Conversations podcast. I'm your host, Ijama, and I thank you for joining me this week. And this week, my guest, I'm so happy to have her on. Her name is Nessa. Nessa is part of the Etsy Conversations Facebook group. And if you aren't part of the group yet, please come and join us. Nessa runs the Etsy shop, Lala's Party, and she sells custom pinatas and more. Hi, Nessa.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being my guest. So before we start, can you tell us a little bit about you?
Sure, I'm Nessa J, and as you mentioned, I own Lala's Party. I focus on handmade pinatas for clients who want their events to tell a story. I've been doing it professionally since 2013, but before that, I did it as a hobby for about 8 years. And I'm just happy to be here and talk about like the journey from being a beginner shop and all of that good stuff.
Yeah. Now, did you teach yourself how to make them?
Yes.
Wow.
It just started as a hobby, honestly. It's just something to do when I was bored. And not just pinatas, but I did a lot of party related things, decorations, party planning. I volunteered at local Head Start schools, stuff like that. I planned parties and I just taught myself and I like it. And I decided in 2013, I'd graduated college. I wasn't getting work. I was frustrated and I said, you know what? I'm going to do this as a job.
Wow. And was that when you opened your Etsy shop?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Was Etsy your first port of call for where to sell your pinatas?
Definitely. I had heard of Etsy long before I ever opened shop there, and I knew in terms of just being a handmade shop that's where I wanted to start.
Wow. Now, why Lala? Is Lala someone?
No, actually, because before Lala's Party, and this I rarely tell this story. Before Lala's Parties, I actually sold hair bows.
Oh.
And the shop was called Lalacitos. And in Spanish, Lalacitos means the hair bow girl.
Oh.
And when I transitioned to pinatas, I liked the Lala part, so I kept it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I asked a friend of mine, they call their grandma Lala. And so I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if
No, it was just this random, coincidence. I picked Lalacitos, and then when I opened Lala's Party, I wanted to keep it. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I like it. Yeah. Now, did you design your own shop banner and all that, or did you have it professionally done by, you know how there are some sellers on Etsy that will design a banner for you and do your thing?
Yeah. No, all my branding and stuff is done by me. I've done it myself. And since 2013, since I started, there's been a lot of changes in terms of branding.
Yes.
I started out, it was just a hot mess. It was just so many colors and dots and sparkles and this and that. And over time, I've refined it a little better.
You lost the glitter.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is a little too much. Let's tone it down.
Okay. Nice. So Nessa, how would you describe yourself? Do you consider yourself a crafter, a maker, an artist, or something else?
Honestly, I like to refer to myself as a creative business owner. I feel like that's what I identify most with. It just clicks for me. I like crafters. I like that word. It's just, I don't feel like it encompasses everything that I do. Yeah.
Okay. So when you initially opened your Etsy shop, you opened it because you weren't finding any other job outside that you wanted to do. So you knew that this had to work.
Yes, from the very beginning, when I started my shop, I was very conscious of that I want this to be a business. It's not a hobby.
Okay.
And it started out, I enjoy it. I love what I do, but I was very conscious of that. I wanted this to be a business.
So what specific decisions or what specific steps did you take to make sure that it was going to run the course, like really be the successful business that you intended it to be?
I think it was really important to do a lot of studying, a lot of reading, just educating myself, because obviously this isn't something that I intended when I went to college. And it just kind of happened. Because when I went to college, I studied criminal justice and criminology. My intention was to become a probation officer.
Oh, wow.
And I actually did it for 6 months. It was supposed to be an internship, but they were so understaffed and overworked that I ended up doing the job for 6 months.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm definitely don't have preparation in business sense. So it was really important to me to read a lot and learn as much as I could. And even after I've started, like I still feel like that's important, and I do it as much as I can.
Yeah, it's hard to stop learning when you're building and growing a business.
Yeah, and you have to keep learning. It's not optional. There's always something new to learn, something new to do, some new strategy. It never ends. And I think when I started, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I thought, no, I just got to learn this and I'm done. Like,
no,
it's forever.
What were some of the educational resources that you used that you found particularly helpful that you would recommend to others?
Well, right now, I'm really loving Academy of Handmade.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, they're amazing. I joined them officially as a member about 2 months ago, but I've been following them for about 6 months, and they're great. It's the community that I was looking for. They're really good at just explaining a lot in a simple way, and getting you the resources and really getting down into the nitty gritty.
Okay.
So that's one. Then there's Creative Hive Co.
Oh, May.
By May Pack.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
May. She's so great. You know her?
Yeah, no, not personally.
Okay.
In my head, I feel like we're friends, but no, I don't know. I know.
Yeah, me too. Me too, actually. Yeah. But she is so fabulous. I love her because she's actually been there. She has a business.
Yes. And
that started on Etsy. And she really comes from that perspective of, I did it. Here's what I did. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Those two are the really big ones that I really love right now. And before that, it was really a journey, just trying to find where I identified with, who was talking about things that I felt applied to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, just all kinds of blogs and forums and podcasts. But those two right now are really the ones that in these past few months, I've really gotten a lot out of.
Okay, that's great. And I will have links to both the Academy of Handmade and Creative Hive Co. They are excellent resources. I haven't so much used the Academy of Handmade, but I've looked on the site from time to time, but I haven't really spent the time to become part of the community to figure it out. But I hear really good things about what they're doing and what they offer.
Yeah, I found them organically. I kept stumbling upon their blog just randomly, and I kept stumbling on their blog, and I kept identifying like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. You know, when you read something that makes you go, yes, that's what I feel, or that's what I'm thinking. And I just kept, bumping into them online, you know, until finally I was like, this means something.
Yeah.
I should pay attention to this. So I applied and I was accepted, and it's just been great.
Oh, so let's talk about that. So you have to apply. So not everyone can join the academy. It's not like a membership site that's open to all.
No, there's an application process involved, and they really want to know like who you are, what you do, why you do it, and what you feel, what you're trying to achieve.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and it just happened almost on a whim where I said, this means something. I think I should be part of this. I applied, and I think about within 2 weeks, they accepted me.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then once you're on the inside, do you get help from people, or are there resources on the inside that you can tap into? Yes,
they have a private forum where members can discuss anything related to business, ask questions. There's a monthly chat that has a specific theme, and we discuss that. There's also resources, downloadables, worksheets that are available only to members, and you get access to Google Hangouts with experts. I think the last one was about business coaching and what that means and why you might want to consider it. And it's really great resources that are only available to the members. Also, if you live near their chapters, most of their chapters are in California. Woohoo. They actually have classes that you can go to in person.
Oh, wow.
And you get like discounts on that as well as you get discounts from other creative business owners that they work on helping creatives. So, for example, there's Little Farm Media is another resource that I really like.
Okay.
It's run by Caitlin Batcher. She really focuses on social media marketing and learning how to do it and learning how to do it effectively. There's discounts for her services, and there's access to other creative businesses in that kind of concentration, that kind of field that is designed to help us be better.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Great. I think I want to have them on.
Oh, yeah. I love them. Like, yeah. They're so, see, I keep remembering Merriweather Council. That's another one.
Oh,
They're also a member. And she's fabulous as well. Just so full of great information. I recommend her as well. But definitely, if you're looking for community and you feel like you haven't really found the people that are speaking to you on your level, I really recommend them. Check them out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll have links to all these resources. So if you're listening to this and you can't look something up right now, just go to convome.com and look for Lala's party, and everything will be on there. Yeah, that's really nice to hear. It's and I like hearing the same names over and over, because it's just a good testimonial for them that they really are doing something right. And
yes, they really are. Yeah, I feel like in the time I spent with them, I've achieved so much in so little time. It's almost embarrassing. As in, why didn't I join sooner?
Right. Yeah. Hey, well, you're there now. Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about your Etsy shop. Now, you opened your shop in October of 2013. Did you immediately start selling then, or did you, because I know some people open their shop and they don't start selling immediately.
Yeah, it took me about 2 months to get my first sale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So one of the things that we talked about, and we talked about this in the Facebook group, I asked a question to the Facebook group and to the people on my mailing list about what their preference was regarding guests for the podcast. Did they like to hear more from new sellers or veteran sellers, or a mix of both? And there was a lot of discussion. The email group, they couldn't see what each other was saying, but I took a poll, so I was able to see where things landed. And some people wanted just veterans, some people wanted both. And so one of the things I want to talk to you about is the importance of being able to hear from both seasoned sellers and new sellers, because I think that both are very, very valuable, but then that's my opinion. So I want to talk to someone who actually was part of that discussion and had an opinion one way or another. So let's talk about that.
Sure.
Just being new and selling on Etsy. Let's talk about, first of all, what your journey was as a new Etsy seller and why you think it's valuable to share what you were learning as you were growing. And well, you still are. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I don't consider myself like an expert or like I'm the best and I know all. You know, I really consider myself as still learning, still growing, always. It never ends. But I feel like new sellers or new business owners get a bad rap. And I think it happens because people get caught up in superficial ways of measuring success. And I think that hurts new sellers and that hurts people that are trying to learn or trying to grow. Because as a new seller, when I started out, the only way that I could learn was obviously by looking for information, but also making mistakes and hitting those same rocks on the path. And the issues that a new seller face now aren't necessarily the same issues that someone who started 6 years ago faced. And there's something to learn from that, because especially in e-commerce, it never stays the same.
Yeah.
So you started 6 years, and 6 years ago this worked, and 3 years ago this other thing worked. Well, now, maybe it's not working for you. But these new shops, they're dealing with these new problems at the moment, like right now. And so you can learn from that and apply that to your shop. How are they getting out there? How are they facing these challenges? How are they dealing with these problems that didn't necessarily exist when I set up shop?
Yeah.
Yeah, and honestly, it's just silly when people say things like, I don't take advice from a shop with less than X amount of sales, for example. We hear that a lot, and it doesn't make sense. And even though the platform, Etsy puts that little number in the corner that we all see and we all kind of get caught up on.
You mean the sales number?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because when you enter a shop, you see, one of the first things you see on the little sidebar is the reviews and number of sales.
Yeah.
And I admit, when I started, I was really obsessed with that number because I felt like, yes, when I have 1,000 sales, I'll have made it, you know? Or I can't wait to be 100 sales, because once you get past 100 sales, that's when it gets easier.
And you're a real Etsy seller.
Exactly. And we have these ideas based on a number that's not actually, it's not realistic. I'd say it's not real because, first of all, it measures the number of items you've sold, not necessarily the number of sales you've made. And it's just weird.
Wait. What do you mean it measures the number of items you sold, but not the number of sales you've made?
For example, I have a higher, mine, I think it's like right now it's at 300 something. It counts every single individual item. So if I sold a piñata and 5 bags of confetti, it's not counting that as one order. It's counting that as individual sales.
Oh.
Do you know what I mean? So one order had multiple items, but that number is actually reflecting the individual items and not the sales.
Oh, okay.
So I could get a really big order of a lot of confetti and it's going to blow up that number.
Right.
But what does that mean? I sold X bags of confetti. It doesn't tell me, did I make profit? It doesn't tell me, how many people I've sold to. It doesn't tell me anything more than I sold X amount of a product.
Okay.
And it's not a good reflection of success necessarily, because yes, we want to sell, but we want to get the right sales, the right kind of sales. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So in your own estimation, how would you define success for yourself?
For me, success would be able to have consistent sales,
okay,
and to pay myself fairly. That's what success is.
Okay.
Something that I can maintain, and I'm not killing myself working 12 hours, let's say, for slave wages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not something that you're going to see from a little number on a shop.
Yeah.
And I know plenty of shops that have such a small amount of sales of that number, but they pay their bills.
Yeah.
They can pay their bills. They can sustain what they're doing. And I've seen the opposite. Shops that make thousands of sales in a small amount of time, and they end up having to close because they can't afford to pay what their supplies,
Yeah.
And it's a trap, honestly, to fall into that thinking of that's what success is.
How would you recommend that a new seller who's just getting on Etsy go about, first of all, setting what their goals for success is, or, how to set the mile markers so that they know that they're progressing?
And it's going to change as you go.
Mm-hmm.
But in the beginning, you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And what am I expecting? What are my expectations? And what does success look like for me? Because if you're a hobbyist, or if you're someone that wants to start a business, it's going to look different.
Yeah.
And if you know that from the get-go, like, no, I want this to be a business, or no, I'm doing this for fun.
Yeah.
It's easier to set that goal. And when you start, fine. When you start, you want to have a goal of, I want 100 sales, but then you have to keep asking yourself, why? What does this 100 sales mean? Is it just because I want to inflate this number? Is it just because I want to make 100, products, whatever, for fun?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it, I'm trying to make a profit. I need to make this amount of money. Maybe you're saving up for something, like if you're a hobbyist, you want to save up for a vacation, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
So say, okay, I want to save this amount of money for this vacation. So I need to do this and this and this. And that's how you start.
Okay. So everyone's goals will be different. And obviously, I know everyone's price points will be different.
Mm-hmm.
Would you, for people who sell handmade items, you want to, in your pricing strategy, include some of the time that you spent making the products, so that it's not free labor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for pricing for, say, people who sell supplies or things that they don't make, do you think they need to have a different strategy?
Not necessarily, because even when you're selling supplies, there's the time that you take to get the supplies, to look them up, to package them, to all the business side of, you're sitting on the computer and you're doing all the accounting and you're taking the pictures and you're setting up the listings. So not necessarily, no. I feel like even if you're selling supplies, you're still doing a lot of work, and you still should be paid for that work.
Okay. So let's talk about time management. What does a typical day look like for you, and how do you manage your time between creating and making and then doing all the other administrative stuff that you need to get done?
In the beginning, it was hard because I didn't have a schedule. Once I set a schedule, things started to fall into place. Typical day for me, I wake up. The first thing I do is I pin at least 50 things on Pinterest.
What?
Yeah, that's the first thing I do in the morning, every day.
50?
Yes. And that's a low number. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Where are you
Yeah.
pinning from? All Etsy stuff?
No, not necessarily my products. No, it's what my audience wants to see. My industry is party decor,
Yeah.
party planning,
Okay.
and I follow a lot of boards related to party planning. So
Okay.
I wake up and I pin what my audience wants to see. Every now and then, of course, I want to promote myself, so
Yeah.
I throw my stuff in there. But it's mostly what do my clients want to see? What do they need to help them make their parties better?
Okay. And are you pinning on your own boards, or you're pinning on group boards, or you're pinning on both?
Right now I don't have any group boards. I used to be part of group boards, and it wasn't working out because it has a lot to do with quality. I was pinning a lot of quality things, but the other people on the group board might not be. And that hurts you. So I ended up eliminating pretty much all of the group boards I was on. And I'm just pinning, my own boards, what my people want to see.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first thing that I do in the morning. And it takes a few minutes. Like 5-10 minutes. I just go bam, 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 pin, pin, pin.
Okay, that's not bad.
Because Pinterest really helps me get traffic. That's why I do it.
You know, I hear that so much. Pinterest is still a mystery to me, but I hear that a lot.
Yeah, Pinterest, and because there's this assumption that the people that are on Pinterest only want to do it yourself things, so they're not gonna buy my products. That's not true. In my case, a lot of people might pin my products and they'll end up buying it. So don't feel like Pinterest is only DIY. A lot of people on Pinterest just want inspiration and ideas, and they will come to you when they see that you make what they want. They will go to your site and they will become shoppers. Yeah.
Now, is everything that you're pinning on Pinterest from Etsy, or do you pin from around the web?
No, I pin Etsy, I pin from blogs, I pin from just everywhere, even Instagrams. I'll pin.
You can pin Instagrams?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I don't do it directly from Instagram, but people do pin their Instagram accounts.
Okay.
And I pin them straight from Pinterest, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've pinned your 50 or more for the morning.
That's the first thing I do in the morning. Then I get straight to pinatas, making orders.
Okay.
I do that until I either finish or I take a break at the middle of the day. I have lunch. After I get right back to it, I finish the orders, I pack up, I clean up my work area, and then that's when I start answering emails.
Nessa, one question. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
About the pinatas.
Yes.
Do they have, and this is a question I've always wondered about.
Yeah.
Are they like made with paper mache where you have to let it set, or you can finish it in one day?
Mine are made with cardboard.
Okay.
Mostly. I do have paper mache that they do take a few days. So what I usually do, for example, if it's Monday and I have 5 orders, I'll start and I'll cut all the cardboard, all the shapes on Monday. If I can finish one completely, that's fine, and set it to dry. If not, on Tuesday, I continue the process where I start to build them and I start to decorate them, because Friday is the day when I ship most of my orders.
Oh, so you have one dedicated shipping day.
Yes, I will. If there's a rush order, I will move the schedule around and ship different days. But most of the time, it just worked out that way, that Friday has ended up to be my big shipping day, because most of my orders come on the weekends.
Oh, I see.
Yes, it wasn't a conscious decision. It's just how it's worked out.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I had a question about something. Now it escapes me. Okay, sorry. So let's go on. So you've made your piñatas middle of the day, and then
yes, yeah. The bulk of my day is that, because I really want to prioritize my customers who've already paid me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're the priority. They go first. If it's a day where it's a slow day, I don't have orders, I'll get into emails and convos and social media.
Okay.
But I tend to keep that for the afternoons after I finished everything else, like at 5.
Okay. Oh, wait, that's it.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, yeah, because
I was like, 5:00, you're done for the day? That's it? No, but then I
yeah,
guess,
no.
that makes perfect sense. You should cut off at some point. Some of us don't have
But
self-control.
that's what I mean about when I started scheduling, everything became so much easier. Because
Oh,
before, I would spend the whole day,
Yes.
like sometimes just all-nighters, just doing all kinds of stuff and out of order and
yeah.
starting and stopping. When I set a schedule, by 5, I'm done.
Wow. Okay, yeah.
And
Okay, good.
I'll answer the occasional email and I get on social media, but pretty much I'm done. And I can have a life and still have orders and still work with people. That's
Yeah.
why the schedule is just, it's gold, you know?
Okay, that
Yeah.
makes perfect sense. Yeah, and that's logical because yes, for those of us who don't have boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
every
And
hour is working hour. So
that's tough
yeah,
because you will burn out.
I know.
You will burn out and you will like, instead of being happy that you're getting orders, you will become so just like annoyed and angry and you're just like, oh, no.
So
And that's like the opposite of what we want.
yeah. So when that do you have the app? Do you have the app on the phone, the Etsy app?
Yes, but I turned off all notifications on everything.
Oh, you
I
really
find
do
out-
cut off, huh?
Yeah, because I just know, and that's another thing, you have to know yourself. And I get easily distracted by technology.
Oh, yes.
Once I sit on the computer, forget it. I'm going to be stuck there for hours.
Oh,
So
very
that's
good.
why I work my schedule. Anything technological, it gets done like after 5. Yeah.
How long did it, like, how long did it take before you realized you had to put yourself on a schedule and then you stuck with it and basically created a routine for yourself?
It took a year
Okay.
for me to really get it. And it happened when I had my first super busy season. And I nearly lost my mind because there were so many orders and they kept coming and my processing time is typically 5 to 8 business days, but I try to get everything out before then.
Okay.
And it was just so many orders and I was like, oh no, and I ran out of supplies and I ended up having to close the shop for a week and a half.
Whoa. Oh, just to catch up.
To catch up and get my supplies in order and regain my sanity.
Oh, wow.
And that taught me a lesson because I was literally waking up Monday through Sunday. There was no rest. Just doing it all day, every day. And it wasn't because I couldn't handle the work. It was because I was being so disorganized with my time. I was wasting so much time and I was getting less done.
Yes, that's so true. I've found that the more disorganized the more disorganized I am, the more time I waste and the less I get done. It's so true. Yes,
and it's so bad because obviously my customers, I want them to be happy and my products are for a special day in their lives, weddings, baby showers, birthdays. I don't want to let them down.
Yeah.
And I'd feel so bad, like, oh no, if I couldn't keep a promise.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that lesson the hard way, but I'm glad I did because now I'm able to meet the demands and still rest.
Okay. Now, how did you pick the 5 to 8 day, what did you call it? Processing time.
Yeah, processing time.
Is that just because you have one shipping day a week? So you figure everything you get, you have that window of time to create them all?
That actually came about. My original processing times were longer because as I was learning, it did take me longer to finish things. But that just came about because sometimes the supplies, I have a problem with supplies and where I am. I'm in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to have a steady supply coming in.
Oh.
And I kept finding that the 5 to 8 business days is what it gave me time to finish, and it gave me some padding.
Okay.
So if something runs out, I have a chance to get it and still ship out in time.
Oh, I see.
So it doesn't actually take me that long to make it. It's just I want to be on the safe side.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if someone wants a paper mache piñata, can they specially request that? Or
oh yeah,
do you just,
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, it takes a little longer, but I know there's people that are traditionalists and they really want it to be a paper mache. Okay. So yeah, I definitely accommodate that. It just takes longer.
Okay. Are those harder to break?
It depends on how many layers you put, because paper mache, you work by layers. One day put one layer, the next day I put another layer. I typically put like about 3.
Okay.
And they are a little harder to break.
Okay.
But I've had people request easy to break, so I'll only put like 1 or 1.5 layers.
Okay.
Yeah.
The piñata purists.
Yeah.
Who want the paper mache.
And you'd be surprised how people have very strong opinions about piñatas. And it's one of those, like, I love it. It makes me laugh. Yeah. But it was so unexpected to meet people who are so, like, passionate. Like, no, it has to be like this. And I'm like, okay. And especially, because now you have traditional hit piñatas, which you hit with a stick, but you also have pull string piñatas, which you pull.
What?
Yeah, you've never heard of that?
No. What's the fun if you pull it and it breaks?
Well, yeah, exactly. You pull it and the door at the bottom opens and it spills out.
Oh yeah, I have seen those.
Yeah, but as you've demonstrated, there's people that are like, "What? That's not a piñata."
Yeah. No, I don't think that's one either. I don't consider myself a purist in the piñata, arena, but
I get emails and I get messages of people that are very passionate that that's not a real piñata. That's not, and whoever uses a piñata like that, they shouldn't even buy them. And just really passionate piñata people.
I like it when people are passionate about fun stuff.
Yeah. Oh no. Like, I love it. Like, it makes me laugh and it makes me smile. But yeah, it's surprised me like so much.
Nice. Do you have a particularly busy season? Like, I know the end of the year is typically busy for retailers and online sellers, but for party stuff, is there another time of the year that's particularly busy for you?
In the party industry, it actually works. September and spring are the busy seasons.
September, so, back to school time?
Yeah, fall and spring are the busy times when everybody's having a party and they need it like next week. That's the busy season, which again, it's kind of works as the opposite. But yeah, that fall before Christmas and all that stuff, it's super busy.
Then do you get busy at Christmas also?
No.
Oh, so you're like taking a break when everyone else is running.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's the opposite, because at Christmas time when everybody's losing their minds, it's actually, for me, it's a slow time because people really like their traditional. I haven't been able to convince people to have piñatas at Christmas.
Oh, yeah, no. Going to get all over the Christmas dinner. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so that's why, like, for me, it's a slow season.
Okay.
While they're enjoying the traditional Christmas holidays. Yeah, it's a slow time. But that's when I prepare for springtime, where everybody starts going outside again, and they really want to have a piñata.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that. Now, what inspires you when you're creating a new piñata design? Because you have lots of different themes. How do you come up with them?
I follow a lot of party blogs, and I tend to look at what's trending and what people are liking, what people are asking for. A lot of my designs also come from just requests from customers that they come up to me and say, why don't you have this, or why don't you have that? And I go, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, but definitely the party blogs is a big source of
Okay.
inspiration because they're really on the trends. Like, something becomes popular and the next day it's all over the place.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, I need to get on this.
Right.
And I start working on it. And then just sometimes I make things that I just want to make
Right.
because that's the fun of it, you know? I'm trying to think of something I made just because I wanted to make it. Oh, I have a sloth pinata that was actually a custom order, and surprisingly, people like it. Like, they want sloth parties.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
So yeah, and that came from a custom order.
Oh.
I also make like the monkey and the paw print. I made that just because I wanted to. Like, I think monkeys are adorable. And the puppy parties, like, I love that. So those were just me saying, I want to make this. And
Yeah.
people have responded to it, so I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like, when I started, I didn't have focus. So I made all kinds of stuff just randomly, without any thought about, will people buy this? You know?
Yeah.
So at one point I had like about 100 different listings.
Oh, wow.
And I had to stop and just strip down. And I think right now I'm at 40.
Okay.
And I've actually done better that way.
And that was actually going to be my next question was,
Yeah.
do you just have certain product lines? Do you ever have a line that it's just for a short run? Like, I'm only going to do, this line for this period of time, and then you don't offer it again?
I typically for Valentine's Day, Easter,
Okay.
I have designs that I'll throw them out there for a month, and then I'll take them down, and then next year it's a totally different one. So
Okay.
for holidays like that, for the springtime holidays, definitely.
Okay.
Last year I did do Christmas pinatas, but I didn't get a response from it. I might try something again this year, but I'm not sure. But
Okay.
yeah, it's all about just trying, seeing what works.
Okay. Now,
Yeah.
when you get a new product that you're going to make, do you create it and then do all the photography, and then everything you make is custom? So you don't have pinatas already sitting ready made?
No, all of
Okay.
my pinatas are made to order.
Okay.
I create a design. I do all the experimenting with that first one about how I want it to look, the colors, this and that. I photograph that one, and then after I photograph it, I take it apart and I make like molds so that I can replicate it.
Oh.
Yeah. So every pinata, even though it's made to order, every pinata is gonna look as exactly as the picture as possible.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Yeah. But I just don't have the space to have ready to ship.
Right. And it makes sense,
Yeah.
it's I think it's a good business strategy,
Yeah.
make
I just
it
don't like
work.
having them sitting around. I like them fresh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, do you ship internationally?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you had any issues with that, or everything just goes smoothly?
So far, the international orders I've had have come from Canada. And
Nice.
thankfully, it's gone well. I've never had a problem. I have had interest from other countries, but because of pricing, the cost of shipping is
Oh, for
super
shipping.
high.
Yeah.
So it's never worked out because my products are large, they're lightweight, they're super delicate. But as far as with Canadian customers and shipping out, I've never had a problem. And I really recommend to anybody to really consider offering international
Yeah.
because it's worth it. Like, don't be afraid. It's gonna be
Yeah.
okay.
No, yes. Don't be
Yeah.
afraid.
Yeah.
It seems intimidating, but it's
Yeah,
okay.
it does. Exactly. It seems scary and like, oh no, what if this happens? What if that happens? But
Yeah.
it's so rare that something does go wrong.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, just as humans, we only tend to focus on the bad things.
Yeah.
But it's like, don't be afraid. It's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. You're gonna open up to a whole new world, literally. A
Yeah.
whole new market.
And think about whatever country you're in, there's the rest of the world that you're keeping out.
Yes, exactly. Like, why are you blocking out so many other people that just might love your stuff and want it? Yeah.
Do you look at shops of people who sell similar items? Are there any other pinata sellers on Etsy?
Oh yeah. They are there, and it keeps growing. Every month there's more and more. At the beginning I used to do it a lot, and it was almost to the point of like just being a masochist.
Yeah. What were you looking for?
I don't even know, honestly. Like, I just wanted to know, like, oh, what are they pricing? What are they selling? What are they doing?
Yeah.
But I don't do that anymore because honestly, for me, it's not, I don't get anything out of it. A lot of the pinata makers are selling, there's a lot of bootleg, like Disney stuff out there.
Bootleg?
And
yeah, so you need a license to do
exactly.
Disney
you need a
stuff.
license.
Okay.
So for some people, for some reason, they think like cakes and pinatas, like they don't count, but you need a license to do that.
Okay.
And that's not the audience I'm trying to attract anyways. So I don't pay attention to that anymore. I don't do it. It for me, it doesn't help.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so let's talk about how you promote your Etsy shop. What are your key promotional methods for getting traffic and sales?
I'd say right now, Pinterest is a big one. Brings a lot of traffic, brings a lot of sales. Titles and tags, just having everything in order. Etsy search is like my number one source right now. Blogging, I have a blog. That helps. And I enjoy it.
Yes. And that blog is lalasparty.com, and I will have links to that on the website as well if you want to go check it out. What do you blog about?
I blog a lot about just party inspiration, party designs, trends, things that I see and I just love, so I want to tell other people about it. I'm really obsessed with details of parties. And I like to take a look at different pieces, like what people are doing. Recently, I posted a blog about Rice Krispie treats. That's trending now.
I love those. Why are they trending? Because
bakers are doing amazing like art on these Rice Krispie treats for parties. It's ridiculous. It's I read a blog post about my 30 favorite on Instagram, and it's incredible the art that they do. They dip them in chocolate, they paint on them, they add just different theme chocolates and all kinds of stuff.
Can I tell you a story about Rice Krispies treats?
Yeah, sure. Tell me.
So I made a batch for my little niece and nephew, and I was so proud of it because I don't care what it looks like. I just like the taste of it. And my nephew says to me, these aren't perfect squares. Maybe next time you should just buy them. I was like, do you realize how much time and love I put into these Rice Krispies treats?
It's not the square shape. It's the love.
Anywho.
Oh, no, that's funny. I love that because actually people aren't making them anymore. They're cheating. They're buying. There's a big baker's sheet of Rice Krispie treat, and it's already made. And all you do is cut it and make it look like, you know.
That's no fun.
Yeah. That's why it makes me laugh because a lot of people that's just what they do. They buy the pre-made sheet and they cut it up and they're like, yes, I made these myself.
Yeah, right. No, that's no fun. I'll take my crooked ones any day.
Exactly, because they're made with love and
yes, and too much marshmallows. So
but definitely, yeah. I blog about party details and making a party better and making it more fun.
Do you promote your Etsy shop or your products on your blog as well, or either actively or passively?
Because on my website, on my blog, I have a separate shop.
Oh, okay.
Straight on my website.
Yes.
So I promote everything I promote from my website. I link to that.
Okay.
Always. Yeah. And occasionally I'll post on the blog about custom orders that I've made and give people information. Like, if you want a custom order, contact me here.
Right.
Or I promote a new product every now and then.
Okay.
But I don't want to get too heavy on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I like the blog to be trends and I just don't like the hard sell.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not my style.
Okay. Now, in addition to Pinterest, do you do any other social media? I know that you're present on Twitter and where else? Instagram.
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Google Plus, but I'm not really using that right now. Okay. That's an area where I'm learning a lot right now.
Okay.
And I'm trying to focus on Instagram and Twitter. Twitter, I actually use it to connect with other business owners and to connect with event planners. So a lot of the content there isn't necessarily aimed at my audience for the Pinatas, but networking with other creatives. And Instagram, I'm trying to post every single day, like what inspires me, my products, and just little shots here and there to show another side that I don't really post anywhere else.
Okay. And are you devoting a lot of time to social media right now, or just when you get around to it, you do what you can?
Social media is an area where I'm starting to really focus on and learn, because before now I haven't really been doing a good job at it. I used to kind of only post when I remembered or when I felt like it, but that's not a good strategy at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now, instead of trying to do everything and every social media account at once, right now I'm focusing on Instagram and Twitter. And with Twitter, I'm using Twitter to connect with other business owners. I find that that's what Twitter is the best for. My audience really isn't there. On Instagram, I connect a lot with event planners, and event planners, they're a good part of my customers and my clients.
Yes, that makes perfect sense, actually.
Yeah, so I'm working on Instagram, focusing on connecting with event planners across the country and showing them like what I can do and the custom work I've done, and also for like the rest of my audience, like little behind the scenes and little pictures of what inspires me and quotes that get me thinking and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I learned the lesson of not trying to do everything and then not trying to do anything.
Yeah.
So now I'm working little by little, focusing on different things. Okay.
And then for Instagram, how do you find people that you want to connect with? Do you do direct people searches or hashtag searches and follow those? What?
I've had the best time with hashtags.
Okay.
Hashtags for event planners, event coordinators, party planning, party ideas.
Okay.
That's where I find my people who I want to connect with.
Okay.
And yeah, I like their stuff. I follow them, and then I try to start a conversation.
Yeah. I like talking to people on Instagram. It seems easier than on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is. Maybe it's because it's more of a visual medium that it just feels less, I don't know.
Noisy.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
Because Twitter, let me tell you, Twitter, there's a lot of spam. It's just, ugh.
Yeah, I know. Sometimes I feel like I contribute to that too. I don't know. But yeah, on Instagram, it just feels like, somebody, I know that people now use tools to post, to schedule their posts so they don't always do it physically, by themselves there and then. I like to think that they do because I do, but I know that they don't. But I feel like when people post a picture, you know, and they take the time to select what they're posting and, you know, what have you, and then you say something, it's easier to start a conversation or, you know, communicate with them because it just seems more personal.
Yeah,
but I know it not always is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I feel like it requires more thought, Instagram, because you really have to think about what you're putting out there. Because on Twitter, you'll post the link like to a blog post. You put the title and you put the link, and that's it.
Like, that's it. Right.
Yeah, but with the visual medium of Instagram, it's really like, what is this? Is this picture looking good? Are the colors good? Does it match the color scheme of my account as a whole?
Yeah. Do you ever find that you get in a creative rut, and then how do you get yourself out if you do?
For me, honestly, it's walking away. If I feel like it's just not there, I'm just making more noise instead of making something that's good. I walk away for a while and I'll do other stuff. I clear my mind. I stop trying to force my way through it. If it's a real creative rut, because sometimes I know there's this idea that people like to put out there that, oh, you can only work when you're inspired or when you're motivated or when you're on fire. But the truth of the matter is, most of the times you just have to do it. Like,
yeah,
motivate. You're not always going to be motivated, but you still have to create and you still have to work.
Yeah.
But when it gets really bad, when I'm just spending hours and doing nothing, I walk away for a while and then I come back and it's like, okay, and I keep going. Yeah.
What's one lesson that you learned the hard way over the last couple of years selling on Etsy? And maybe not even just Etsy, because you do sell through your website as well. Mm-hmm. So selling online.
I really wish that I had an idea of my target audience when I started. I really and it's, people talk about it all the time, but until it clicks, it's kind of just like, whatever. Yeah. At least for me, like I heard it, I'm like, okay, yeah, target audience, okay. But it wasn't until it clicked like a year ago, maybe not even that long ago, I realized like, oh man, I do need to really focus my message and focus what I'm doing and not try to be everything to everybody. Yeah. And had I done that early on, I would have hit my stride like quicker.
So when you found this out, at the end of that year, then did you just revamp and redo your whole brand to cater to who your true audience was?
Yes. And I'm still working on it. It's always a work in progress. After that first year, I really changed a lot about the branding, like the logos and how my website looked and the message I was sending. Focusing more on, I guess, higher end parties and not necessarily like backyard, simpler parties, because I was trying to focus on one group when really it was the higher end customers that were looking for me, that they wanted this product from me. Okay. And I was focusing on the wrong group.
Wow. And did your pricing change as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it has, and it'll continue to, because I've been undercharging. And when I started understanding that, like, oh, these customers really want something quality and they're willing to pay for it. That's when it clicked and I changed everything. And within like the first year, I did a certain amount of sales, and then within the second year, I've doubled that. Wow. And I've actually made less product, but made more money. Wow.
Because your price point went up.
Yeah, my price point went up. I was able to focus on the right people. And again, it's a work in progress. I'm still learning.
Yeah.
But just taking that first step and really trying to understand who it is you're trying to attract, it makes a difference.
Yep, I hear that all the time.
Yeah. And I've heard it too, but I had to find a way to make it click for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's one thing that you really like about selling on Etsy, and what's one thing that, like a feature that doesn't currently exist that you would like to see implemented?
I really love how easy it is to start.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, I guess would be one of the hardest things, just to start.
Yeah.
And that being so easy, it's a gift and a curse, because sometimes people start a little bit before they're ready, but yeah, it's just, I like that. It's easy to start and get your feet on the ground and get going. In terms of something I wish they had, the new Etsy listings manager.
Yeah.
It's erasing listings.
Wait, what?
Yes, it's happened to me and at least a handful of other people I know. You edit a listing and you press save, and it does the opposite. It deletes.
Really?
It deletes the listing. It's happened to me. It's happened to a few buddies of mine, and it's not cool.
Have you reported that?
Yeah.
Oh, are they aware that it happens?
You know how it is. Like, you send an email and you have no idea if they heard from you, but I'm not the only one, and it's not a good thing. So I wish they'd fix that.
Okay.
Like the listings editor.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah.
All right. What is one piece of advice you would give to someone who's just starting out newly on Etsy?
Don't call yourself an Etsy seller or an Etsy shop.
Oh, what should they call themselves?
If they're a business owner, call yourself a business owner or a crafter or anything else other than having Etsy in the name.
Oh, and why is that significant?
Because words are important, and the way we use words puts us in a certain mindset. And I found that people that refer to themselves as Etsy sellers sometimes have a hard time owning their own business. They think that anything that goes wrong, oh, it's Etsy's fault. I'm not selling because it's Etsy that's not doing for me. Or if they're successful, they say, oh, well, it's thanks to Etsy. And it's like, no, it's thanks to you. You're the one that's working. Etsy is a tool, and you use that tool. But don't short sell yourself. Oh. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. That might be a little controversial, but it's a mindset. It's a mindset. I find it a lot when I have conversations where there's a difference between someone who refers to themselves as Etsy seller or someone who refers to themselves as business owner.
Right. Okay. I never stopped to think about that, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you start from there, also when you Google search information, don't search specifically how do I set up an Etsy shop, for example, or how do I market an Etsy shop. Open yourself up. Google how to market a business, how to set up a business, how to connect with customers, not Etsy customers.
Yeah, because the goal should be to grow.
Yes, because if you go into this and you want to be a business and that's your goal, that's what you're trying to do, then that's how you need to behave.
Okay.
You are starting a business, so you want information about businesses.
Okay.
Not just Etsy.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now this is something I'm doing, just starting out. Well, I've done it with a couple other people, but it's a new segment on the podcast where I ask you who you want to give an Etsy shop shout out to. So it could be another seller that you buy from, or that you think they're doing something really well, or they've helped you in some way along the way. So who does your Etsy shop shout out go out to?
Okay, well, I have two shops that I love. I love the shops and I love the people who run them. First of all, buttonhead.org or Buttonhead on Etsy. Just search for that.
All right.
It's run by Allie Puckett.
Puckett?
And yeah, Puckett. Puckett.
Okay.
And I love Allie. She's awesome. This is like a shout out for you, Allie, because she makes, first of all, let's start with that. She makes, pinback buttons, temporary tattoos, and stickers for events.
Cute.
Birthdays, weddings, all kinds of events. And they're unique. Not only she will make a product based on your designs, or she will design something herself just for you.
Oh, nice.
And her product's great. She's great. Allie and I, we email all the time, and we talk about all sorts of things relating to business.
How did you guys link up initially?
I met her through Google Plus.
Oh, okay.
Actually. And I think she complimented me on something about my shop, or she made a joke or something, and I was like, oh my God. And I just started emailing her, and she's great because she started with one little button machine, like in an apartment.
Oh.
And now she's just has this great shop, and she does amazing things, and she always has like awesome advice, and she's so cool. So yeah, shout out to Allie at Buttonhead. Yeah.
Fantastic, yes.
So that's the first one. The second one is for Journey Joyful.
Journey Joyful. I like that.
And that's run by Katie. And Katie is a sweetheart. I love her so much. She's like a Southern belle. Like in my head, that's the image I have of her. Like this is Southern, like perfect, just adorable person. Her shop, she focuses on creating calligraphy. She does a lot of motivational art prints, personalized family tree signs, like for your house. She does guest book signs. It's all hand painted or prints.
Nice.
She's great. I met her at the very beginning of my blog. I wanted to do a collaboration with another shop to design, I think it was like a baby shower based on winter. And she created this banner, and it was just gorgeous. And she was great to collaborate with. She was very open to suggestions. And also, yeah, we emailed back and forth all the time about suggestions. I follow her on Instagram, and she's just a sweetie, and she does great work, and she's a mommy, and she posts like photos of her adorable little boy. And yeah, so shout out to Katie, who's also awesome. So if you're looking for those kind of products, please visit her.
Okay, cool. So we have Buttonhead and Journey Joyful. I will have links to both of these Etsy shops as well. So it'll make it easy for you to go, if you're on the blog, to jump over to their shops and shop around. Take a look at what they're doing. Tell them Nessa sent you.
Yes, tell them I sent you. Tell them I said hi, that I love them, that they're awesome. Please visit them. Follow them on Twitter and Instagram, and just give them love because they deserve it.
Oh, nice. Good. And so, Nessa, what's the best way people can reach you if they want to get in touch with you?
You can find me on Twitter at Hi Lala's Party.
Okay.
Follow me on Twitter. Say hi. Don't be shy. On Twitter is where I connect a lot with fellow business owners. So I guess that would be the best place for that. But if you want pinatas and party things, visit my website, lalasparty.com. Say hi. And yeah, I'd love to hear from y'all.
Fantastic. Okay. And I'm going to have links to everywhere you can find Nessa. Twitter is the best way to reach her, but then I'll also have her Instagram, her website, her Etsy shop, of course. Facebook, where else are you? Pinterest, of course, Pinterest.
Yeah.
Yes. How could I forget Pinterest? All right, Nessa, thank you so much for being my guest. I really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you for sharing what you did. I agree with you. I think we can learn from everyone, seasoned sellers and new sellers, because sometimes if you've been selling for a while, there's some things you forget that new people are going through, and it's just kind of nice to be reminded of some of those things. Maybe there's some things that need to change because things have changed. And so yeah, I am an advocate of hearing everyone out, because I think everyone just has some value to offer. I really do. So thank you for coming on the podcast and sharing your Etsy journey and all the information. It's been very eye-opening for me, and I really enjoyed talking to you. We were talking before we even started recording, but maybe I should have pressed the record earlier. Thank you, Nessa.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And yeah, if there's one thing you take away from this, I really want you to realize, don't get distracted by superficial measures of success. Number of sales doesn't necessarily tell you about someone's knowledge or someone's success. So don't get caught up in that. Search for the information. Search for what you want to know. So yeah, thank you for having me. I love it. I told you before, I could talk for days. Yeah. So yeah, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Nessa. And thank you for listening to the podcast. I will be back next week. Between now and then, you can find me on the website, convome.com, and on social media. I'll have all my links on the website. So you can just go to convome.com and you can give me a holler or something, and I'll be back next week. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. You can subscribe to the podcast in iTunes, and while you're there, please leave a review too. Visit convome.com to leave a comment or feedback on this episode.